Teams down to 2. It all comes down to a USA Prime National and Indiana Bulls playing for the Prep Baseball 16U Championship here at LakePoint Sports. I'm Cory McCartney taking you up to first pitch in what figures to be an exciting matchup with USA Prime's collection of 2027s, including the top 2 players nationally in the class, taking on an Indiana Bulls team that boasts 5 Division I commits. First pitch is slated for around 12:55, and if these teams' path to get to this point are anything like what we've seen out of them so far, this one should absolutely deliver. Now, excitement isn't the only thing that we are searching for this summer at LakePoint Sports. We have partnered with Johnsonville to highlight positive actions, good sportsmanship, and selfless acts associated with all of the various youth sports that we love. Any and everyone is encouraged to share those moments, whether you're the one who spotted the activity, the one performing the act, or the recipient of the good deed. There is something in it for everyone, and Johnsonville just might reward you for your behavior and our participation. So use the QR code you see on screen now for more information on how you can make a submission, or head on over to LakePointSports.com or our social channels on how you can access that submission form and help us with this campaign. Now, to give you an example of what we're looking for, here's East Cobb Astros Connor Adams and TGD-backs Tristan Blaylock in a moment that underscores that you should always respect your opponent.
Today we're going extra bases with Martin Scheller of FTB Philly Scout. He's an outfielder in the class of 2026, the number 15 ranked player in Georgia. Martin, how you doing today?
Doing great, man. How about you?
Doing good. I appreciate your time. I got the chance to talk with Hudson Graham and Ian Smith on our Peach Fuzz podcast about you a little bit right at the end of the season. You made Ian's all-sophomore team, and the main term he used was tool shed. How do you kind of translate what that means to you and how you use it in your game?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, tool shed, that just means you kind of have a lot of different abilities and talents that you can kind of apply to all places in baseball. And to me, it kind of means like versatility, like the ability to be able to, take all the tools you have and be able to translate them to different parts of the game.
Definitely. And you're playing for this FTB Philly Scout team that has kind of become a prospect factory over the past couple of years. Big names, Elijah Green, Drew Jones, Max Clark, amongst the rest. What is different about the process that you have here it's kind of taking you to that next level?
It's just been able to be around like a lot of high level talent. I think that's the biggest thing, is it pushes me to be a better version of myself when I'm around other players that play at a high level, and to be able to get to compete with them and just kind of, go head to head against them and sort of kind of compete within the team.
Fantastic. All right, well, let's start the lightning round. We're sprinting off to second base. Wood bats or metal bats?
Wood bats for sure.
Okay. What's the top song on the playlist right now?
Shoot. Let me think. Probably Yeah Glow by Glorilla.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Love it. What's the best meal you can cook yourself?
I'm pretty good with some hibachi and chicken.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Taking a big step. All right. Who's your favorite athlete growing up?
Favorite athlete growing up? I never got to watch him play. It was probably Barry Bonds, though, man.
Okay.
Just getting to watch highlights of him play, dude. I mean, he was, in my opinion, the best player to ever do it and hit some bombs.
Fantastic. Who's your favorite active MLB player?
He doesn't play in the MLB right now, but Trevor Bauer probably.
Okay.
I just love his personality. I love the way he goes about the game and the way he develops himself as a player.
All right. Well, our final question. What is the go-to eye black style? You've always got a different look going on.
Yes, sir. I either go crosses, but for me, my favorite are the M's. So I go straight across and I go 1, 2, 3 down, M for Marty. So that's the way I go. Yeah.
Love it. All right. Well, that was Martin Scheller. You heard him here first. You got to go with the eye black. It's the best way to look good on the field. Martin, thanks for your time today,
Thank you, man.
I really appreciate it.
Get a look at how these two teams are going to line up for the start of this 16U National Championship game. USA Prime National going to lead off with center fielder Jordan Griffin, followed by third baseman Chase Fuller. Hitting third, Lash Henderson, the DH. Hitting for Kyler Message, the left fielder. Jordan Albaratco behind the plate. Aiden Salinas playing shortstop. Dexter McLeon Jr. in right field. Ethan Armbruster will be the first baseman. Eli Jones playing second base. Maddox Lard, the extra hitter. Samir Foster, another extra hitter. And Landon Green will be on the mound. Meanwhile, Indiana Bulls, Landon Nikoloff will be the second baseman. Aiden Reynolds will hit second and play third. Robert Zarnicki, the right fielder, will hit third. Tate Troxel, first baseman, hitting fourth. Hitting fifth, Aiden Smith, left fielder. Evan Hampton, the center fielder, hitting sixth. Gannon Grant, the shortstop, hitting seventh. Hitting eighth, the extra hitter, Blake Cope. Ryan Rodman will be on the mound and hitting ninth. And Eli Hampton, the catcher, will be hitting 10th. So again, just getting ready for first pitch here. This matchup, the 16U National Championship. Had some absolute epic matchups in the semifinals. Indiana Bulls beating East Cobb Astros in extra innings and a walk-off performance from USA Prime National. They've been a dominant program throughout this event. Now to be joined by Hudson Graham from Prep Baseball Georgia. And Hudson, man, that was an absolute epic that we saw from the Indiana Bulls to take down East Cobb Astros. I know you know that East Cobb Astros team well. One flicked off there to start things off with a foul ball from Jordan Griffin. But a collection of kids that maybe didn't have the credentials that some of these other teams did. But, man, that Astro squad went on a run.
Yeah, definitely. It was a team that they really put together quality games. They had quality starts from their pitching all week long. They filled up the zone. They threw strikes. Obviously, a lot of good teams in this tournament, but they just stayed in every game. And then their bats kind of propelled them into bracket play. And then once you get to bracket play, kind of like the playoffs, it's a whole new ball game. Guys start running out of arms. The consistent lineups end up being the ones that end up making it. And then after that, you just kind of piece it together on the mound, which is what the Astros did. And they gave them a shot, then pushed the Bulls to a 10-inning matchup in the semifinals.
So a ground out to start things off, and here is Chase Fuller. Chase, the #1 player in Florida, #2 in the nation in the class of 2027, Florida State commit. If that name, Fuller in Florida State, ring a bell. His dad, Cory, is the director of football operations for Florida State, was part of the school's 1993 national championship team, their first football national championship. Guess I went over to first base. Wild play. That one gets away, and a kind of errant flip from the pitcher to second instead of the first baseman. So we're going to see Chase Fuller standing at first base. And now here comes that man, Lash Henderson, the #1 player in the nation in 2027, guy who's already homered a couple times in this tournament. And last game saw him score from first base on a ball that wasn't hit all that far into the outfield. This guy can absolutely coast.
Yeah, do it all for sure. Funny enough, that last game you had Vernon Woodard that ended up giving a big-time long stretch of relief innings on the mound, which, funny enough, his Grayson's ball club, very similar to this Astros team. Just some really good ball players that love to play the game, and, he was able to help his team on the mound and at the plate. He nearly gave him the go-ahead. He hit a backside ball to the shortstop with runners on first and second in a tie game, and the shortstop made a really good play to end the inning. But really fun game to watch. That was the second time seeing them this weekend. But, yeah, this Bulls lineup is pretty stout throughout, and they had a really strong start on the mound from their guy last game. So should be a good one here.
All 18 players on this Indiana Bulls team are ranked at least in their state, 7 garnering national rankings in Aiden Smith, Sammy Swank, Beckett Doan, Robert Zarnicki, Aiden Reynolds, Gannon Grant, Tate Troxel. Troxel playing first base, Alabama commit. Yep. 5 commits on this roster in all. And on the mound right now, we've got Ryan Rodman, Western High School in Indiana, 6th ranked catcher in Indiana, 68th overall. But he's here for 2021 junior feature games.
Yeah, Beckett Drone, I believe that was their starter last game. 6'6", 200-pound lefty on the mound. He was a future gamer last year for Team Indiana, and it was pretty electric from the left side. Kind of a lot of funky slot. Kind of had a different delivery, but he filled it up in the upper 80s, mixed in like a Vulcan-type changeup that had like 800 spin on it that was really gross. So it was fun to see him.
Henderson with the dribbler to short. Gloves it,
Good
throws
play.
in time. Nice glove work there at shortstop to get Lash Henderson, but Chase Fuller does move on to second base. It is important to realize that this USA Prime National team, primarily a bunch of 15-year-olds that are playing up in this 16U National Championship. So the fact that these guys, I mean, obviously they come in with some serious credentials, but this is a team that was challenged age-wise, and they have absolutely lived up to the expectations of those national rankings that they carry with them.
Mm-hmm. Then we got our lone Georgia guy in there as a 14-year-old. You got Dexter McCleon Jr. Representing for the 2028 class.
Yeah, I think every expectation that he's going to be, if not the #1 player when prep baseball releases its 28 rankings, he's going to be challenging for that top spot.
Luckily Shooter was able to get a good look at him at Top Prospect Games a couple weeks ago. So definitely unbelievable two-way talent. He did it in high school and playing JV at Buford, and now he's doing it on the biggest stage as well. Has had 2 home runs, hit one over at Georgia Highlands, and then had a big one yesterday, up to 92 on the mound. So it's going to be fun to see him at Buford the next 4 years.
The Wasp running around here, our third member of our team, seemingly on every one of these broadcast floor, takes off for third. Got him as he gets in a little late and slips across the bag. So we're going to have plenty more to talk about with this talented USA Prime National squad taking on the Indiana Bulls. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun with great brands at the best prices. More of this, and this. So you can get together for a little of that, and a lot more of that. And even some of that, and that's good. Have more fun with great brands at the best prices. Only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
To LakePoint Sports, got USA Prime National and Indiana Bulls facing off in the 16U National Championship game. Cory McCartney along with Prep Baseball Georgia's Hudson Graham. Landon Green on the mound for USA Prime National, the top-ranked right-handed pitcher in the nation in 2027. Got a chance to catch up with Landon earlier this week. Mentioned on one of our other broadcasts, a man of very few words. When I asked him his best pitch and what he's working on, he simply said slider and change.
Yeah, that fastball looks okay as he's bumping 94 in warm-ups. So I'd say the fastball's in a good spot right now at 15 years old.
Yeah, we're going to see these guys for a long time these next few years. And that's one of the things I talked to Lash Henderson and Landon about, was that being on this team with really the only guys who kind of understand what it is that you're going through and what you're going to be going through over these next few years. It's interesting that they've been able to have so many of them together like this, because I think that's a rarity too, is that you have so many of those guys that are kind of coming in with those top tier rankings in the class, and that they're playing together, and they've been playing together for a while. It makes for an interesting dynamic for sure. And
having Fuller's dad and even McCleon's dad on there too, I'm sure they bring in valuable experience where they've they've seen a lot of guys come through the system, so I'm sure that's a great value add.
Landon Nikoloff going to lead things off for Indiana Bulls, followed by Aiden Reynolds and Robert Zarnicki.
I know we've talked about it before, but it's Indiana Bulls squad. They're a heavy prep baseball program. They play in a lot of events. They're down here for all the top tournaments. Max Clark made his many appearances here with the Indiana Bulls, so we have a great relationship with those guys. So it's always good seeing these teams that put these local kids together. Most of these guys from Indiana, got I believe some Kentucky's on there maybe.
Yeah, they got some players from I believe Wisconsin, as well as Kentucky and Indiana.
Hampton brothers, I've able to see them a lot over the years. Two Kentucky commits there.
Yeah, take that back. There's a Wisconsin player on the USA Prime National. So it's Indiana, and then they've got, as you mentioned, the Hampton brothers, who are one of them headed to Kentucky, and Evan and Eli currently uncommitted. There's a 1-2. Swing and a miss, goes down on strikes.
95. On the inner half.
And Landon just pitched 2 days ago. Well, 3 days ago. He pitched over the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Sometimes the way these tournaments run, where they go from Thursday until Wednesday. I don't know about you. I forget what day it is.
I know. I think it was the Tennessee broadcast they were talking about yesterday. It's just day. You just take off the Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday is just day for us. I think they were saying that on the broadcast.
Pops that one up.
Because today feels like Sunday since it's championship day.
Yeah, it does.
But it's not. It is Wednesday. So we'll get 15U National Championship rolling tomorrow, and we'll do that all again. Be back here on Wednesday for that championship, and then we'll start 13U, 14U National Championship. So
Robert Zarnicki at the plate now. Robert, the #1 outfielder in Indiana. Saying in Indiana is that's like a tongue twister right there. But Indiana's #1 outfielder in the class of 2026, 7th ranked overall, number 24 in the nation, 132 overall. He's locked in for future games, so we will see him at the end of July. A couple guys on this roster for Indiana Bulls will be back here at the end of July for future games.
Yeah, Indiana, they always put together a pretty strong squad. They're junior future games guys. Their 2027 group, they took us down 4-3 in the championship game last year, so they always bring a lot of talented players to the event.
Second strikeout for Landon Green, and it's going to get us through one. We're scoreless in the 16U National Championship game. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
So yeah, outrage is trending. Our feed's stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard, front yard? Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes, block nobody, block party. Keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect, come to
Sports. This is the 16U National Championship game. I'm here at the Audi Marietta Field. Cory McCartney joined by Prep Baseball Georgia's Hudson Graham. You see Ryan Robbins continuing on the mound for Indiana Bulls. He's going to be facing off against Kyle Message to start things off for USA Prime National, and then Jordan Alvarado and Aiden Salinas. Notes up here on Kyler Message, number 3 left-handed pitcher in Florida, 16th overall, number 9 in the nation at his position, another top 100 player in the class of 27. With this, they have 11 players ranked nationally in the class of 2027, not to mention, as we were talking about, Dexter McLeon Jr., who may be number 1 in 2028.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited. I keep getting more and more excited over each class each year. You know, I love the 26s, but man, something about this 27 class, I feel like we're gonna have a lot of guys in it. I mean, especially Georgia, but throughout the country, I think this 27 class is gonna be really, really talented.
Yeah, I'm talking to the scouting director in Texas that hits him on the foot. You know, obviously they have Henderson leading the group for them, but he believes that the 27 class for Texas is going to be the strongest they've had since the class that Bobby Witt Jr. was in.
Man, yeah, that's awesome. I think Georgia's going to be really similar. I love the 26 class, but I really think there's a few guys in the 27 class that have a chance to be really, really special. So we'll see how it all shakes out. Obviously, so young right now, but there's already so many guys making an impact at a high level.
Robin pumps that in for strike. As you can see, home plate umpire's wearing a GoPro on top of his mask for us, so it'll be interested to see what that footage looks like. The last one that we had turned out really well, so certainly always happy that these guys are willing to give us that vantage point on their work behind the plate. Alvarado sends that one third, gathers, gets that one in the outfield, though. Runner's taken off for third. A bit of an errant throw. Thought we were going to have a nice play out of that position, but fortunately, USA Prime National have runners at the corners here to get things going in the second.
Yeah, I guess a lineup like this, I feel like especially with what they got going on the mound, I think you just got to take outs in that situation. Next thing you know, you got Dex coming up here on deck, and they could open this thing up pretty quick. So
this is Aiden Salinas, shortstop, 6th ranked shortstop in Texas, 24th overall. It's a Miami commit.
I know it's going to be weird as we start to go on. You know, there's a few 27 commits here and there, but you know, the new recruiting rule, majority of these 27s are going to be uncommitted. So you can only imagine what that future game squad for everybody is going to look like next year. So, and then 28s, it'll be a clean slate. I don't think there's any 28s committed, but it truly does turn into the best event in the country because it takes the uncommitted factor out of it because everybody's uncommitted. So,
yeah, I would imagine Chase Fuller really had no choice but to commit to Florida State.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was. I'm sure that was a cool thing for him too. After his dad having been so tied to Florida State for the last 30 years, for him to be able to follow suit and now say he's on path to be a Seminole as well.
Good pitch there.
Rodham gets him down on strikes for the first out, and here is Dexter McLeon Jr.
I don't think pitcher's feeling too good here. I felt like he came out to check on him in the first, but I think he might be headed out here.
Yeah, talking to Rodman a little bit before the game, he seemed like he was okay, but obviously this heat can be another factor when you get out there. And these guys just went extra innings as well to get to this point. Yeah, let's say that's going to be it for Rodman. Going to have a pitching change already for Indiana Bulls as we move on to McLeon. This is going to be number 32, Blake Cope.
Had a good backside, pull side triple for me in that semifinal game. I was watching those guys against the Astros. Really strong, physical kid. Doesn't do much at the plate movement-wise, but you could tell he's really strong throughout.
Exit velo up to 100, bat speed at 78.6. He's the first-ranked first baseman in the state of Indiana. Locked in for future games. As I mentioned, there's, I believe, 3 or 4 players on this Indiana Bulls team that will be back here at the end of the month and the next month. It really is. It's I know I keep saying it, but it really is like when we get from Memorial Day until the future games, it's like just like one big weekend.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to. You really do lose track of time because it's just one group comes in, the next group comes in, and we're just full force.
We had a couple breaks in tournaments here and there with those, those 3-game guarantee stuff. But the scouting staff, we were running our showcases on those off days, so it truly does all blend together. Now you get these national championships with the 5-game guarantees, and it's one day after another, and then next thing you know, future games is here, and. Which I'm excited for future games this year. I think having the 17U groups, I think will be really interesting. I think we'll get up over that 400 coaches mark. We've been teetering with it the last couple years, but I think having those uncommitted 2025s here, I think it'll bring out some junior colleges and especially junior colleges, but a lot of other schools other than pretty much every D1 in the country that usually makes their way down.
Yeah, I imagine there'll be some pomp and circumstance when Tony Vitello shows up for his annual pilgrimage here after claiming a championship.
Yeah, it's been cool being around him the last couple of years, talking to him about players. And he had some Georgia guys that he always really liked over the years. Obviously having a couple on there now, but funny enough, we were talking about it the other day. When I first started here in 2019, Drew Beam was my first video that I ever got as an intern. So obviously panned out for him.
Yeah.
He was on 615 baseball in the very first MPI we ever had here in 2019. So,
wow.
Cool stuff there. AJ Causey was another one that we
Okay.
saw a lot with the Vipers team that he played on, VBA. He was always here a good bit, so it's cool seeing those guys, which now, taking over the scouting director role, I get to follow these 25s. Was really my first class that I really got to dive into. I'm so excited to see them, get going into college here in the next year or so.
So Blake Cope's got his hands full with Dexter McCleon Jr. with one on and one out and 2 on. McCleon absolutely hammers that ball 91 off the bat, rips that one down and taking off for second base. 1 run scores. McCleon going to be standing at second base with an RBI double off the first pitch, 91 off the bat, and 2028's hottest player. Man, that guy can absolutely rake.
Yeah, we got it rolling on social media right now. Posted up to 92 on the mound, and then hit an absolute no doubter. So the views are rolling in for old Dex, having a big weekend.
Well, he keeps it rolling to give USA Prime National a 1-0 lead here in the top of the second. They're going to roll it on to Ethan Armbruster. And he wasted no time whatsoever just jumping on that ball.
To me, it looks like Dexter. He just slows the game down in all assets of the game. Really, I think that at the plate, I haven't really seen him get outmatched yet. I think he has a plan up there, so a lot of unteachables for him, obviously. But man, he's gonna be fun to watch at B for the next 4 years.
I'll tell you what, one of the things that, watching him from this vantage point here at LakePoint Sports is he started off with TGD backs,
Yep.
and then he moved over to the Atlanta Braves scout team, and now with USA Prime National, constantly putting himself in different positions where he's being challenged, right? Like
Definitely.
he was playing up when he was with TGD backs, and then he goes to, the Atlanta Braves scout team, and he's playing, with a really talented crew, and now he's doing the exact same thing with some of the best players in the nation. Skies that one into right field. Going to be a second out, but everybody's going to take off, and there's going to be a second run as McCleon, that ball kind of gets away from the third baseman. Nearly hit McCleon. Looked like as he was coming into the bag, but USA Prime National now has a 2-0 lead.
And he's doing all this on the diamond, and he's also a football and track guy too.
Yeah.
So, juggling those. I know he takes care of himself. He's always in the weight room. He's got a really good plan. Great kid. Doesn't really say a whole lot. So kids like that, you always hope to be successful, which obviously he's on quite the path for that.
Yeah, Dad played 2 sports at Clemson before going on to play in the NFL. So Armbruster's going to give way to Eli Jones. Jones sends that one back foul. Jones, an Oregon State commit, the #2 player in the state of Washington. So this guy traveled an absolute long way to be here at LakePoint Sports.
Talk about traveling a long way. We'll have the Hawaii guys represented this year at future games.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Hawaii's been making a bigger. They had some guys at Super 60. Jay Souza, the former Little League World Series star, was at Super 60. But yeah, they seem to be. There's a bigger focus, it seems like, on the scouting aspect of things in Hawaii.
Yeah, Dan Cox, he kind of took over as our Hawaii scouting director there about, 6 months ago or so. And he's also leading the charge on a lot of international stuff in Taiwan and some other places. So I'll actually have a couple Georgia guys on Team Select, which is, a lot of Hawaiian kids. So that'll be fun to see them.
Well, for now, we're watching USA Prime Nationals guys show out here. They lead 2-0 in the 16U National Championship. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
Next. Next. Stop.
We got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one,
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete and all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Axel going to lead things off, the Alabama commit for Indiana Bulls. They trail 2-0 here over USA Prime National in the 16U National Championship game. Cory McCartney, along with Prep Baseball, Georgia's Hudson Graham, Landon Green, fires, and Troxel jumps on that first pitch. 92 exit velo off a 94-mile-an-hour pitch.
It's a good plan there.
Yeah.
Got to sit on that fastball.
So he goes down on the line out, and here is Aiden Smith. We will see Aiden Smith back here for the future games. Swings through on strike one. Aiden from Shelbyville High School in Indiana. Primarily a right-handed pitcher. 51st overall in the class. 6'3", 170. Landon Green absolutely challenging these hitters. Misses inside. Counts now 2-1.
I think it picked up the exit velo off the pad there.
I think it did. At least everything's working. Comes Green with the 2-1. Back to fastball, 93. It's like rock steady mechanics and control here from Green on the mound.
Yeah, everything's so synced up. Obviously, being 93, 94, strong lower half. It looks really good.
Misses get the walk for Aiden Smith. I asked him who he's kind of looked to in terms of, you know, when he was coming up as a pitcher, who were those guys that he kind of like tried to take pieces. He says he loves Aroldis Chapman. And I said, what do you love about him? He goes, he throws hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing with some of these younger kids throwing so hard at a young age. If they can learn to kind of hone that in, you know, at a young age, I think it just goes to show, just helps them out in the long run. Because a lot of times these kids hit these velo jumps, you know, and they're maybe sophomore, juniors, and they got to learn to control it a lot of times. But even, you know, Green here, and then Dexter's the same way. Dexter's just been on a steady uphill with his velo. So always good when they can get that velo figured out at a young age.
Went on the check swing. Makes it 0-2. You know, Green's not a huge guy either. I mean, listed at 6'1". I think he's probably a little bit, maybe that's 6'1" in spikes when I was standing next to him doing interviews, but 173. Think of Christian Rodriguez, who we had here during the future games for Florida, who's now at the University of Florida. That was a guy that was, you know, just on the cusp of triple digits when he was in high school, not much bigger in stature than Green. It's going to be Evan Hampton.
Yeah, Evan had the walk-off single in the semifinal game to put them into this game. Was able to hit a single to left field and score the winning run for them. So,
yeah, tough play too. I know it was a little bit of a bobbled ball. I don't think that they were. If it had not been bobbled, I still don't think there would have been a play at the plate. But yeah, Hampton, the Kentucky commit, able to come through and push the Indiana Bulls into the championship game.
Yeah, the Bulls, they made a couple really good plays on defense that the Astros could have easily taken the lead on a couple of them. The third baseman had a play to his backhand late that he was able to get the final out. And then on that Vernon play where he hit that single to shortstop, he made a really good play to to second base. He had no play at first base. It was going to be bases loaded, but he was able to get off a quick throw to second base to get that final out.
Yeah, the play at third. I mean, Troxel pulled him off the bag. He had to reach back and
Yep.
was still able to make that. But yeah, that was an epic game. Absolutely.
And I had the video there, and when I was watching it back, the runner kind of started to take his turn, so he kind of didn't run in a straight line. So it probably would have ended up being bang bang if he would have knew that Troxel actually made the play. I don't even know. I think he thought it got by him.
Gannon Grant now at the plate with 2 down. 10 for strike, gets away from the catcher though.
Yeah, for the Indiana Bulls to get back in this game here, I think they're going to have to have some timely 2-out hits. Obviously, a big knock here will get them back within 1. So
Green looks back at the runner, comes to the 0-2. Spikes that one. Runner's taking off for third. The throw it from Alvarado not going to be in time.
Good play though. Got out there quick.
Sure did.
Made a little on-the-run throw. Georgia Jackets gave this USA Prime team a pretty good game last in the semifinals. They were kind of a couple timely hits away from taking the lead a couple times. I know USA Prime had a big out at the plate with 2 outs, runners on first and second on a base hit. The left fielder came up with a big time throw when it was still 0-0 early. So really competitive game on that end.
Yeah, some of the Georgia Jackets players were still milling around a little bit ago. I'm not sure if the length of their game and then the long wait for this one had them taken off, but this was a 2-2 from Green. Gets him on the late punch out. End up stranding a runner. 2-0 is the lead for USA Prime National over the Indiana Bulls. You were watching the 16U National Championship.
Where is it written? Only grill burgers? Nowhere. That's where. Now throw on some sausage. And keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect. I'm the man in command. Come flow with the sounds of the mighty mic.
Got a 2-0 lead for USA Prime National over Indiana Bulls in the 16U National Championship here from the Audi Marietta Field in LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney along with Prep Baseball Georgia's Hudson Graham. Going to see, let's see who's hitting for USA Prime National. Maddox Lard going to be followed by Samir Foster, and then we are back to the top of the order and Jordan Griffin. Blake Cope continues on the mound, came in relief in the 2nd inning for Indiana Bulls. So Lessard is going to lead things off as the #1 player in Wisconsin, the 10th ranked catcher in the nation, 72nd overall, a 2022 Junior Feature Games participant. Just 1 hit so far in this game, that coming via USA Prime National off the bat of Dexter McCleon Jr., a RBI double. See how Cope starts off against Lessard. Lessard absolutely jumps all over that ball. That's headed back towards the track. That's backtrack and gone. Maddox Lard, Wisconsin's #1 player, leads things off with a home run for USA Prime National, extending their lead to 3-0 here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, that ball kept carrying. It's been carrying like that all morning. Even yesterday it was carrying like that, you know, especially to the gaps, but he was able to put a drive into that one and squeak it out right underneath the scoreboard, it looked like.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to read off the trail there as he started making his way back to the warning track, but that one's gone, and USA Prime National 3-0 lead. We're going to go from Maddox Lard to Samir Foster. Samir Foster came on and was pumping, I believe, 93 in the last game on the mound.
Yeah, I looked over. I came over and peeked at that game for a second, and he was at like 57 pitches through 6 innings. So he was in a groove for sure. Yeah, talk about Georgia guys. I forgot to mention we also have a Georgia high school coach over at third base, Delvin Jordan. I didn't realize he was coaching this team for him. As he was running over there as the ball was going out. He's at Newton High School this past year. Was at Newton.
Foster sends that one to third. Gathers throws in time for the first out. So down goes Foster, the 13th ranked player in 2027, and go from him back to the top of the order. And here's Jordan Griffin. Mentioned few number of 2027 commits. Jordan Griffin is one of them, locked in for LSU. First ranked player in Louisiana. He's 25th overall in the class. Cope misses high. Ryan Rodman started things off for Indiana Bulls on the mound, but exited in the second inning. That miss makes it 2-0. Not sure if he wasn't feeling well or if this heat was causing a bit of an issue, but again, Indiana Bulls had to go deep into that last game, so you had to figure it was going to tax them one way or the other. They were either going to be taxed in the pitching department, or some guys were just going to frankly be exhausted after being out there so long trying to get through that game.
Yeah, I think I overheard they may have quite a few position guys trying to get them through this one.
Well, that's kind of it happens when you get to this point in this tournament, right? I mean, we're out here crowning a national champion, but when you think about the fact of playing so many games and this amount of time, you can only have so much pitching, and then when you got to get through the bracket play as well, I mean, it's unless you're a national team that's coming in here with a lot of arms, I mean, this can be ruling. Now we'll move to Chase Fuller. Fuller 0 for 1.
And also, too, when you get so deep into these tournaments, more than likely they're starting another tournament, maybe even tomorrow, but definitely Friday. I think there's a big one kicking off for this 16U group. So they obviously got to be conscious of that, make sure they have guys ready to go for that event as well.
Yeah,
so.
Gino Goralski's dad told me they were on their way to Hoover this weekend for an event.
It starts up Friday, I believe.
Yeah, so that is a piece of it as well. I mean, obviously you don't want to get to this point and not, put your best product out there, but sometimes it's just not necessarily a reality, and you got to use arms to get to this point. We always talk to Brian Snicker about what you do for the next day, and he's like, you got to worry about winning that game to get to the next day, and we're pumping a lot of it into one game, so you got to win one game to get to the next one, and that can be an issue for pitching.
Good throw. Good jump.
Got him. Don't think Griffin agreed with that, but he's going down on the throw out second base. Nice job there behind the plate from Eli Hampton. Now we got 2 down for Fuller. He's already got a 1-0 count on him.
Good showing from the Georgia teams this week, though. We had 6-4-3 knock off the #1 seed coming in bracket play yesterday, and then we had 2 Georgia teams in the semifinals. ATL Lightning made bracket play as well, so Divine was over there. Astros ended up beating Divine, so always good showing from the Georgia guys.
What we just saw might have been the best pitch that Cope's thrown to get him to 2-2 against Fuller. Back for the off speed, gets him on strikes. USA Prime National got a 3-0 lead off the home run from Maddox Lard. We'll be back. You're watching the 16U National Championship.
Where's it written? Only grill burgers? Nowhere. That's where. Now throw on some sausage. And keep it juicy.
Boogie, woogie, jam, slam, bust the dialect. I'm the man in command. Come, flow with the sounds of the mighty mic.
3-0 is the lead for USA Prime National. Landon Green continuing on the mound for Prime National against Indiana Bulls here in the 16U National Championship game. Cory McCartney, Prep Baseball, Georgia's Hudson Graham. Seen just a couple hits for USA Prime, but they've both come in timely fashion and showed up on the scoreboard. A RBI double from Dexter McCleon Jr. and a home run from Maddox Lard that have given USA Prime National this 3-0 lead.
I think if the Bulls can see some pitches here, maybe get Green's pitch count up a little bit, see what the bullpen has to offer, I think this Bulls lineup, might be able to get them back in this game. But the way Green's throwing it, it might be tough against Green, but quite a few guys were hunting the fastball early, so we'll see what adjustments they make coming in this second time through the lineup here in a few batters.
Yeah, Blake Cope going to lead things off, who we've seen on the mound. Ryan Rodman's scheduled to be in the on-deck circle, but again, he was the starting pitcher, exited in the second inning, so I would be surprised if we actually see him hit. And then catcher Eli Hampton, the number 10 hitter, and then we will be back to the top of the order.
Cope here, he'd be one. He's got a super simple swing, doesn't do a lot with the lower half. Obviously good, strong frame there, but he'd be the one to get into a fastball here. I think he had a home run earlier in the week, so look for him to be hunting fastball early.
See if Cope can help his own cause after taking over on the mound and swings through the slider for strike one.
It's a good plan there. Going off-speed first pitch, they saw last inning these guys were looking fastball early, so good adjustment there made by Green, maybe his catcher as well.
Dribbler to first, gathers on the run, gets it himself. Shooter Hunt told me Landon Green has the most electric stuff in the class.
Yeah, no, that changeup, that's like a power changeup at 80 miles an hour. You can tell running away from Cope, had the sink to it, so that coming out of the same tunnel as a 94-mile-an-hour fastball with a 14-mile-an-hour difference. That would be electric, that's for sure.
So Jackson Mitchell takes over for Ryan Rodman in the lineup. Mitchell sends that one foul. 17th ranked righty in Indiana.
First
38th overall.
First debut of the game, 92-3. Get ready to go.
No batting gloves. Swings through for strike two. You really don't see very many guys anymore that don't have at least one batting glove on.
Yeah, I played with a couple guys in college that were like that. Jose Caballero, actually Tampa Bay Rays second baseman. Played with him in junior college, and he was a no batting glove guy and has been a big league starter for the last couple years, so it works for him.
Jackson Mitchell goes down on strikes, and now here's Eli Hampton, the number 10 hitter. The other Hampton who's behind the plate in this one from Owensboro High School in Kentucky, the first-ranked catcher in Kentucky, 9th overall in the class. He's got exit velos teetering on triple digits as he skies that one, 93 off the bat. Someone's got him on the run. He's heading into second base. Nice job by Eli Hampton there jumping on that pitch. 93 meets 93, and he's standing at second base with a 2-out double.
I feel like we have quite a few brothers we've seen over the years, really talented. Hampton brothers, you got the Zagarin twins from Georgia.
Had the Harringtons that were playing for Canes.
For Canes. So it's definitely cool to see Eldridge. They were kind of separated out a little bit, but ATL Lightning had Coleman Eldridge and then Barrett Eldridge, who's at Highlands. So always cool to see these siblings doing well. I'm sure that it's tough when it comes to recruiting, but obviously the Hampton brothers, both highly talented players, so I'm sure Kentucky had no problem with a 2-for-1 there.
Yeah, I think that's always the interesting thing, talking to the Zagarin twins about that. They want to be together, but it's like, how do you, like, what is that dynamic like, you know?
Luckily for them, they're at the plate. They're almost mere identicals. It's like one day Carson's doing well, one day Aiden's doing well. They can really both play anywhere on the infield, too. They can play outfield if they needed to, so I think they'll end up at a good spot. They'll actually be coming on the Future Games team this year. So
Nikoloff dribbles that one back to Landon Green, makes the play himself to get out of the inning. Strands a runner. USA Prime National lead 3-0 as we continue with the 16U National Championship game.
Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Nothing continues to be the lead for USA Prime National here in the 16U National Championship game. Cory McCartney, Prep Baseball Georgia's Hudson Graham. Blake Cope continuing on the mound in relief for Indiana Bulls, and he's going to be facing off against, let's see who's hitting now for USA Prime Nationals. We wait for the scoreboard update for us here, but already seen some electric stuff offensively from USA Prime National as Dexter McCleon Jr. had an RBI double, and also saw Maddox Lard with a solo home run. And here comes Lash Henderson's going to start things off in this inning. Going to be followed by Kyler Message and Jordan Alvarado. Henderson grounded out in his last AB.
I couldn't imagine being a pitcher facing this team. I mean, obviously these guys being 16U, the Indiana Bulls, but as a 15-year-old facing this lineup with 0 holes in it, it's like.
Yeah, I mean, we also had the Michigan Hit Dogs squad that or Motor City Hit Dogs squad, excuse me, that we had their broadcast over the weekend, and pretty much the exact same situation. Graham Keene, the number 3 player in this 27 class, was the headliner for them. But yeah, it's I've said during that broadcast, when you're one of these older teams and you see 15U on the team that you're playing, you better be ready for a battle, because you know those are some highly touted players that are going to be coming up there.
Yeah, I believe 17 Astros, they almost won a really big event as on the 18U group. So these younger kids, they get better and better, bigger and bigger.
Yep. 3-1 count now to Henderson. Walks him on 5 pitches. So Lash Henderson aboard with a walk, and here's Kyler Message. Message swings, sends that one foul. Forklift joining our broadcast here as you hear it backing up near the studio.
I know these LakePoint guys, they no off days, not much work can get done when there's games being played 24/7.
Exactly.
So
Message skies that one. Short camps underneath it, says he's got it, and he does. Not going to be 1 down. Henderson continuing at first, and here's Jordan Alvarado. Jordan from Uvalde High School in Texas. Of course, everyone across country knows that school's name. #1 catcher in Texas, 38th ranked player overall in the class. Comes in at 5'10", 215. Henderson takes off for second base. He's easily going to have that bag. To be that big and that fast.
Puts it all together.
It's the 1-0 to Alvarado. Cope gets in for a strike. Steps off. Sure, these Indiana Bulls players wishing they weren't Indiana Bulls black on a day when they're playing in the Georgia Heat.
Yeah, I know they have those all black unis that are really nice looking, but good play there up the middle.
Yeah, short gathers, throws to first in time for the second out. Henderson, though, advances the third, and here's Aiden Salinas.
Luckily, though, I feel like we've had pretty much a steady breeze all week. For the most part of the park, I know that turf gets hot when there's a breeze. It's kind of hot air with the heat coming off the turf, but throughout the complex, the wind's keeping us alive.
Had Jackson Mitchell, who came to the plate with no wristbands, no batting gloves. Aiden Salinas comes through with absolutely everything. He's got the ankle guard, the shin guard, the elbow guard, batting gloves, wristbands, sliding mitt in the back pocket. He's a sporting goods store's dream up there at the plate right now.
Got rocking the turtleneck, little throwback look there.
That's
I
right.
see some guys rocking it every now and then.
Yeah.
I think Dexter likes rocking it sometimes. One of them has, it might be him. I think we got a little shine to the cleats. I don't know what they got on there. But I was standing behind the plate. They had a little sparkle to them. I'm excited to see the All-American game stuff this year being in Miami. I know they've talked about, I don't know what, I'm assuming the jerseys will probably be the same, but I've heard some rumblings of like some accessory stuff that they may try to do kind of bright with, you know, with the Miami theme down there. So excited for that event coming up in September.
Yeah, it was primarily just all black and gold when we were up there last year in Milwaukee. So you gotta fit the climate. It's gonna walk Salinas. See a little Ty Pete in Aiden Salinas.
Yeah, I actually watched a video of him the other day. Came across the YouTube feed. He was a future gamer back in 2020, I think, maybe 2021. So cool to have him in the minor leagues. Obviously, first round, right? He went first round this past year. So he was kind of a surprise in the draft. I mean, everybody knew he could play, but there were guys that really saw the power projection from him and took a chance on him. So good to see him in the minor leagues. Got quite a few other guys bouncing around. Bubba Chandler, I saw from North Oconee. I saw he got pitcher of the week or something. I think he's working his way up through the system. So
1-0 to McLeon. Holds back on that one.
Oh,
And the
he wanted that one.
The thing with Pete, too, is like he's a guy who's, you know, Little League World Series, and I talked to him when he was playing here for Trinity Christian years ago. To be that guy that every time you step on, everybody already knows you before you come out in the field, and like, what's that like as you get older, and, you know, you kind of have to shoulder that everywhere you go.
Yeah, I played with Blake Jackson, Warner Robbins, Little League World Series guy. I played with him in junior college, Houston County kid, and that's kind of the same way.
It can't be easy.
No, definitely.
Also, probably can't be easy to be a guy that everybody thinks could be the top player in the class of 2028, but somehow you just keep coming up big every time you get a chance to, which is what McLeon did in his last debut with an RBI double. Now he's got a 3-0 count. I just don't, to me, these guys shoulder so much and are able to compartmentalize so much at such a young age. I think it says a whole lot about, you know, about the people around them too, but certainly the level of talent. Isn't even going to stick around for that pitch as he draws the walk, and bases are going to be loaded as we now move on to Ethan Armbruster.
Yeah, I think if it's not a 3-0 game with 2 outs and getting the bases juice, I think you see him let Dexter hit there. But obviously, being a 3-0 game, the Bulls are still in this. Obviously, the USA Prime's got a chance to open it up here, but got to take a good AB there just in the situation.
Going out there and have a conversation with Cope with the bases loaded, and USA Prime National leading 3-0 with now 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Ethan Armbruster will have the bat in his hand, the 3rd-ranked right-handed pitcher in the state of Texas, 6th overall in the class. He's a top 40 player nationally in 27. 6'3", 190 out of Westlake High School in Texas. Cope misses. Make it 1-0. Armbruster going to be followed by Eli Jones, and then if he keeps going, Maddox Lard, who's already got 1 home run on his box score for today. That one bounces away. Henderson taking off for a 4th run. Everybody else going to advance 90 feet. So Henderson glides in for another run, and he's getting away from Indiana Bulls here a little bit, see if they can try to limit the damage and get up and try to keep this thing a little bit close. The 2-0 makes it 3-0. Hoping our home plate umpire with that GoPro got a good shot of that Lard home run. Gets a strike in the outside corner. Your 3-1. Bases will be loaded again. Now it's Eli Jones' turn, the Oregon State commit.
Obviously, I was lucky enough to grow up here in Georgia. I couldn't imagine being one of these West Coast guys, the travel that they go through during these summers. I mean, I know a lot of guys just live here. I know they got like host families and stuff,
yep.
but yeah, I couldn't imagine going back and forth, West Coast, East Coast, because I know these guys aren't playing a ton of West Coast tournaments. All the top ones are mostly East Coast, so I'm sure that's a lot on these guys, but a lot of fun.
Back pick throw gets away. Here comes one more run. 5-0 USA Prime National as Salinas crosses the plate. McLeon moves on to third. Armbruster down after a collision at first. Yeah, that was kind of the path for Bubba Coleman, right? He started off as a player in Arizona and came here and was playing during the summer times, and now he's at, I believe, Cherokee Bluff now.
Yep. Yeah, we had some, I can't remember what team it was. Somebody had told us he was moving down to Georgia next year for the spring season that was here playing this weekend. I believe he was a Maryland or Virginia kid maybe, but yeah, we always like to know when those guys start moving in, make sure we know about them when they come in here. Looks like we're going to have Hampton here maybe. One of the Hampton brothers, Evan, I think.
Yeah, this is Evan Hampton stepping in for Blake Cope. USA Prime National puts 5 on the board with Cope on the mound, and now they'll face the Kentucky commit in Hampton. It's primarily an outfielder that runs a 6'6", 60 at 6'1", 200 pounds. See what he's able to do on the mound here with his brother behind the plate.
Even though he might not be a primary pitcher, I'm sure these two have done this many, many of times.
I would assume so, yeah.
So I'm sure they'll have a little fun out there. They might not have gotten to do it recently, just being, on this Bulls team that usually has a ton of arms. But I know I overheard them say a couple guys were going to some other tournaments that they weren't able to stay today. But I'm sure they did this growing up quite a bit.
Certainly an exciting moment from the Hampton family, and we'll see what Evan's able to do here as USA Prime National's got a 5-0 lead. There's 2 down. And we're going to have Eli Jones and then Maddox Lard if the inning continues. Certainly makes for an interesting atmosphere when you get to the final game of this event and there's 5 fields are empty, and it was like such craziness too early in the event. In the biggest game of the entire tournament, you got collectively fans for just a couple teams and one field of activity, and it's certainly a different situation for sure.
It feels like an off day for me. I know for like our scouting staff, we just got to watch one game. Feels like we're in the high school season again.
Yeah.
That's why I love the high school season so much, because you get to focus so much more on games. Whereas here, obviously, you got so much going on, arms throwing on the other side. You got to run down to the other side. And so obviously a lot of fun. We get so much to see, so much baseball here. But when you get one game, it feels easy at times. But then if you miss something, you got even bigger microscope on you, because you can't miss it if it's just one game going on. I got an excuse if I miss something with 2 or 3 going on.
That's right.
Luckily, we got our cameras here catching it all, so you can always go on and find the game after, baseball.lakepointsports.com.
That's right.
You can check those out, pull the clips, save them, and
yeah, our new system, along with Aware TV, powered by Pixelot. So really kind of a cool experience now where you get a lot of the secondary information on the screen as well.
Yeah, it's come a long way. I know it's kind of been a work in progress for us for a little bit, but I think within the next year or so, I think you're going to see a lot of improvement with it, a lot of new features that players and parents and even college coaches will be able to utilize.
Hampton gets that in for strike, makes it 3-1 count here to Jones, the Oregon State commit. Walks him. Bases will be loaded once again, and here's Maddox Lard, who's already got 1 homer solo shot. See what he can do here with the bases loaded.
Got to get out of it here if you're the Bulls, just to keep you in it. 5 runs, obviously not a small deficit, but still, once they get into the bullpen, maybe they can get something going as he gets there. Strike 1.
So Lard already going to see more pitches than he did in his last at-bat when he jumped on the first one for a home run. Skies that back foul. Lard, 6 foot, 187 pounds. 2022 Junior Feature Games player. I mentioned the #1 player in Wisconsin.
Got Andy Soroka up there in Wisconsin for us. He's kind of been bumped up as a national content guy for us, but he kind of got that thing running, and as he gets into that one to center.
Yeah, skies that. Unable to make he was able to make the play. Look like he almost went behind it, but a nice leaping grab there in the center field.
Yeah, I thought he missed it when his hands went up, but able to snag it.
Able to limit damage. USA Prime National, though, they lead 5-0 as we move along in the 16U National Championship Final.
Grilling is an art. Don't forget to add sausage, Picasso. Keep it juicy.
Jump to the jam, boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect. I'm the man in command. Come, flow with the sounds of the mighty.
Still on the mound for USA Prime National, who have a 5-0 lead over Indiana Bulls in the 16U National Championship game from the Audi Marietta Field at LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, Prep Baseball, Georgia's Hudson Graham with you. USA Prime National in complete control of this one so far. Green has looked awfully good, just 31 pitches in as he takes the mound for the 5th inning.
Yeah, long break for Green here. Let's see if he can come back out, make sure he fills it up, first batter. Especially after that big inning, want to make sure you get a shutdown inning here to keep that momentum rolling.
Aiden Reynolds will hit for Indiana Bulls, going to be followed by Robert Zarnicki.
We saw what could happen with a pitcher break, in the College World Series with Vitello.
Yeah.
Did you see that on that hit by pitch that really wasn't nowhere near him? He ended up challenging it, and that was actually the inning that I guess they had the big inning, right, and scored some runs. So momentum is key, especially on the mound when guys are finding their groove. It's hard to get them out of it sometimes, especially with guys like Green that have such electric stuff. It looks like he's okay, though. Breaks off a breaking ball first pitch, so I think he's still locked in.
Well, he's facing an Indiana commit in Aiden Reynolds, 2022 and 2021 Junior Feature Games participant.
Backs it up with another one.
He's got an 0-2 count on him. Reynolds, 178 overall in the class.
Complete confidence there with the breaking ball as he goes back-to-back after a 30-45 minute break in the dugout.
See if he goes back. Fastball here.
Goes back to it.
Goes back to it, gets it to first. First got it himself. One down. Shove there from Ethan Armbruster taking care of business himself. And now we will see Robert Zarnicki.
Indiana Bulls are always a program that has the names on the back of the jerseys, which I know you can appreciate doing the broadcast and trying to find out who's who.
Yeah, it makes life a little bit easier.
I think they have them pretty much on every jersey.
Yeah, and you can understand some of these national teams not doing it because I'm sure there are situations where you got to bring somebody else in. You have a pickup player for a tournament, and it just makes life a little bit easier. Zarnicki skies that one. Fortunately, it doesn't look like our camera is going to catch up with things. I think we're going to have 2 down. So Zarnicki flies out, and here is Tate Troxell. It was said when we saw Tate Troxell earlier that looks like an SEC first baseman, 6'4", 220 pounds. Alabama commit. '22 Junior Future Games participant.
Good pitch there.
Swings through to make it 1-1. Skips away from the catcher to make it 2-1. There is just not much wasted movement whatsoever in Green's delivery.
No, not at all. We talked about it earlier, being synced up. I think for these young pitchers, especially with velo, I think the more they can stay synced up, the better off they are, just maintaining the upper body and the lower body strength, not letting one do too much than the other. So obviously, he's still running up to 92 in the 4th.
He's thrown just a mere 40 pitches. Comes with a 2-2. Going to run the count full.
I don't think you've said that too many times. I feel like he's attacking guys early in the count, getting a lot of swings early, putting them away when he needs to.
See what he has here in the payoff pitch. Sends that one foul.
Disrupted timing a little bit there, a little bit slower leg lift, but obviously still stayed really controlled. 93.4 on the lower half of the zone.
Another 3-2. Swing and a miss inside and gets out of it with another strikeout. Landon Green continues to impress, and his USA Prime national team continues to lead 5-0 in the 16U National Championship. We're going to turn things over to Grayson Rosen. Hudson, man, great job.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll see you soon. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
Just burgers? It's just boring. Get your sausage on and keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect. I'm the man in command. Come flow with the sounds of the mighty.
Partnership with Johnsonville to highlight positive actions, good sportsmanship, and selfless acts associated with all the various youth sports that we love. Any and everyone is encouraged to share these kind of moments. So if you're the one who spotted the activity, performed the act, or the recipient of that good deed, there's something in it for everyone, and Johnsonville might just reward you for that behavior or participation. So use that QR code that you see on screen now on how you can make a submission, or you can head on over to LakePointSports.com or any of our social media channels to access a submission form. And to give you an example of what it is that we're looking for, here's East Cobb Astros Connor Adams and TGD backs Tristan Blaylock in a moment that underscores that you should always respect your opponent. Back at it here at LakePoint Sports in the 16U National Championship Final. Cory McCartney now joined by our own Grayson Rosen as USA Prime National continues to lead 5-0 here in the top of the 5th inning, and we have seen some electricity at the plate, and we have seen some electricity on the mound from Landon Green. Grayson, what's been your impression so far out of what you've seen?
Landon Green is definitely pitching up to exactly what we wanted to see. The #1 right-handed pitcher in 2027, a top 10 player in the nation. This is exactly what we wanted to see. He had 5 Ks through his first 3 innings pitched. He's just kept it going. He's gotten out of some tough spots. He walked Aiden Smith with 1 out in that 3rd inning. I think it was either 2nd or 3rd. With 1 out, he walks Aiden Smith. He then proceeds to strike out 2 back-to-back batters looking. So he's just doing a great job of, even when he does have moments of kind of, not throwing top stuff, he comes right back out and proves it again.
Samir Foster flies out, and we're now back to the top of the order in Jordan Griffin. Jordan 0 for 1. Got thrown out at second base his last at bat, or last time he was on the base pass, and we didn't agree with that call necessarily, but see what we can do here with 1-0 count.
Yeah, Jordan Griffin's definitely got some wheels. He's got 8 stolen bases this weekend.
Wow. Yeah, you're kind of our event stats guy, the one that goes through and puts together our stats leader video after the events are over with. Now, you were running through some of the collectively what these teams have done. And these, I mean, I know we saw some nice runs from some other teams, but I think by and large these have been the 2 most dominant teams of the tournament.
Yeah, especially when you're looking stats-wise, accumulating across the tournament, of course, it helps them because they've played the most games. But these are the 2 teams that even during the semifinals, we mainly saw these 2, at least top 3 in just about every category. These 2 are the top 2 in home runs. They have by far the top 2 in extra base hits and RBIs. They're scoring so many runs that it's kind of hard to pass them up. And obviously USA Prime keeping it up here. And as a 15U team, how crazy is it that we even find them here? And right around them up at the top, a team that made it to the quarterfinals, Motor City Hit Dogs. They also are a 15U team that we've found all over the place on these leaderboards.
So we see a walk to Jordan Griffin and Chase Fuller, who's 0 for 2, the 2nd-ranked player in 2027, looking to make his mark on this game and get himself on the base pass for the first time. 3rd time through the order here for USA Prime. Swing and a miss. The offer from Evan Hampton. Got a all-Hampton battery here with Evan on the mound and brother Eli behind the plate.
You'd definitely like to think that Eli knows how to call a game for him.
Yeah, if anybody does. All right, Fuller with a 3-1 count. Rips that on the ground nearly 100 miles an hour off the bat. Flip to second in time, flip to first. Gets the double play. Nice job defensively there from Indiana Bulls. Really hard hit ball. You got to give Gannon Grant some credit there for fielding a nearly 100-mile-an-hour grounder off the bat to get things started for an inning-ending double play. USA Prime National, they lead 5-0. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
Where's it written? Only grill burgers? Nowhere. That's where. Now throw on some sausage. And keep it juicy.
Boogie, woogie, jam, slam, bust the dialect. I'm the man in command. Come, flow with the sounds of the mighty mic.
Have a pitching change for USA Prime National, who lead 5-0 over Indiana Bulls in the 16U National Championship here from the Audi Marietta Field at LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, our own Grayson Rosen with you now. Let's look at the new pitcher that we're going to have on the mound for USA Prime National is going to be Easton Ryder. Ryder from Dorman High School in South Carolina, the 4th-ranked right-hander in South Carolina, 26th overall in the class, a 2023 Junior Future Games participant, and that is the luxury of this USA Prime National team, that you can bring out an arm ranked in the top 5 in his state at this point at the stage of a championship game. As we often see in these championship games, teams having to kind of move position players in to try to get through something, but we're seeing the depth and breadth of this USA Prime National team play out here as Ryder goes out with a 5-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th. He's going to be facing off against Aiden Smith, Evan Hampton, and Gannon Grant.
And this is a part of the lineup for Indiana Bulls that I really like, because it seems like guys that are just the full package. A guy like Aiden Smith, who's going to lead off this inning. He's a future gamer for Indiana in 2023. He'll be back here at the end of July. Already got his invite.
Yep.
If he hops up on the mound, he can hit 93. On the base paths and in the field, a 6.7860 and a 98 max exit velocity.
Wow. Yeah, I was talking to Aiden a little bit before the game. He's excited to get back here at the end of July to represent the Hoosier State in that event.
Yeah, we've got a number of guys already accepting an invite from this team that'll be back here at the end of July. Bit of a long meeting there at the end of the warm-ups, but
I'm going to be excited to see this GoPro footage. I'm really
Definitely.
hoping that Maddox Lard home run is on there, but this is going to be some really good stuff. Jumps on the first pitch, sends that one into left field for a base hit. It's going to be the 2nd hit of the day for Indiana Bulls. So they look to try to get something started here as they trail 5-0 in the 5th. So Aiden Smith going to give way to the now opposing pitcher, Evan Hampton. Hampton, the Kentucky commit. Missed, makes it 1-0. Had to be really impressed, though, with Landon Green. I mean, that was the first time seeing him pitch in person, and that was it certainly fit everything that you heard about in the scouting reports and those really lofty national rankings.
yeah, I think our guys got it right on him. He looks fantastic. He looked like he was, easily one of the best pitchers I've watched this weekend, and that says a lot because we've got some talented guys. But to be in the younger side, to be 15 years old, up here at this 16U national championship and rivaling some of the top pitchers even in 16U is a pretty big feat.
Hampton skies that one foul. Makes the count 1-1.
Yeah, this is a part of the lineup where they've got a ton of speed, so a good extra base hit could score a run even from first. Aiden Smith, like I talked about, a 6.78 60. We followed up by Evan Hampton here. He's got a 6.69 60, and then right after Hampton, Gannon Grant, a 6.93. So all sub-7 60s right here in this 3 that are coming up in the inning, and maybe he can run this out and avoid the double play.
He's not able to. It's a nice turn there from Aiden Salinas to get the double play. So very quickly going to have 2 down, and all going to be on Gannon Grant here. Yeah, even that speed, unable to finish things off and keep them with at least 1 runner on. So they're not going to have 2 down, and see what Grant's able to do here. Misses inside. Feel a little bit demoralizing after you have that first pitch leadoff single. You're trying to piece something together, trailing 5-0 as Grant rips that one into right field. And that's going to be down for 1 base. He's going into second. Maybe he's all on his way to third. Gannon Grant with a 2-out triple as the Wasp made its way from in here. I think it just flew in front of the on-field camera. Gannon Grant, though, he's got a 2-out triple. Nice piece of hitting there, as he completely took advantage of that. 81 off the bat, and unfortunately, that's a situation where had that double play not be turned, we'd be talking about Indiana Bulls being on the board. But now, got another chance to do it, though. See what Blake Cope, if he can push one across the plate.
Yeah, and like I talked about, that speed was obviously in play there. this team also was just getting triples for sure this weekend. That's their 13th triple of the tournament as a team. That's 7 more than the next team in second place, which is USA Prime National.
Wow. Extra base hits machines, and we'll see if maybe Blake Cope can be one too. Trying to put his team on the board.
Yeah, that one made it their, I believe, their 40th extra base hit of the tournament as a team.
Skies that foul. Makes it 1-1. Signal they need some more baseballs here on field 10.
Blake Cope here, he could definitely hit for some power. Obviously, you don't need to hit it out of the park here. You've got the runner on third to score, but he's got a max exit velocity that he recorded back in December of 23 of 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, no joke when he's at the plate, and his team absolutely needs him now. Got to put something on the board as he sends that one foul.
Definitely on the defensive here. Already fouled one off with 2 strikes. Just trying to make anything happen for his team late in this game.
I love the bat speed metric. I keep talking about this on all the broadcasts, but we got him at 78.6, which is, you put that across the major leagues. I mean, that's like upper elite echelon, top 5% of all major league players when you're talking about an exit bat speed around 78.6 miles an hour. So this is a guy that can do some serious damage. But as you mentioned, they don't need it all right here, but they do need something. Trailing 5-0, and runner at third.
Really
gets a hold of one, yeah. Unfortunately, not going to see how that one plays out, but it's certainly an out. 5-0 is the lead for USA Prime National. As we move along, you are watching the 16U National Championship Final.
So yeah, outrage is trending. Our feet stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard, front yard? Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes, block nobody, block party. Keep it juicy.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
LakePoint Sports is the top of the 6th inning, getting early late here for Indiana Bulls as they trail 5-0 in the 16U National Championship Final. Cory McCartney along with Grayson Rosen coming to you from the Audi Marietta Field. Evan Hampton still on the mound for USA Prime National. He's going to be facing off against Lash Henderson, Kyler Message, and Jordan Albrado.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have already talked about what a weekend that Lash Henderson has had up here, but he's been killing it. He's got 8 stolen bases, tied with his teammate Jordan Griffin. He recorded that 8th one earlier in this game. He's hit 2 home runs this weekend. He's just been phenomenal.
Guy who certainly shoulders the responsibilities and pressure, expectations, whatever you want to call it, of being the #1 player in the class of 2027 rankings that were just updated a couple weeks ago, is right coming out of the National Program Invitational as he rips that one for an out. Looks like that went right back to the shortstop. Thought maybe that one might find its way into left field. Our camera's not exactly helping us out here, cutting back, but be 1 down as Henderson is now 0 for 2, and here comes Kyler Message.
Yeah, it seems like Lash has hit all of his hits kind of in the similar direction, though, throughout the weekend. Everything going, like, over the shortstop.
Message skies that one in the left field corner, and it's going to be out number 2.
Quirk work so far from Hampton here, just letting them hit it.
Yep, letting them
allow
put it
the
in play.
defense to play.
Letting his guys work behind him. Got 2 down, and here is Jordan Albrado. Jordan from Uvalde, Texas. See if he follows suit here. Actually hit him, and it showed a 22.6 exit velo on the bat. As the ball hit him, there was a 22-mile-an-hour exit velo off the hit by pitch. So if you ever wondered how fast is a ball coming off of somebody when it hits them, 22.6 miles an hour is going to have you in that range.
Maybe if you work the biceps a little more.
That's right.
Get that number up.
That's right. Now here is Aiden Salinas. Got a runner at first. Hampton misses. Gets that in for a strike. Mentioned it when I was in here with Hudson Graham, but I really do see some Ty Pete similarities within the game of Aiden Salinas.
Yeah.
First round draft pick out of Trinity Christian.
I just love the accessories.
And
everything.
He has
He's got
it
everything.
all. Yep. Really should get him to do one of our Academy Gear Up videos because I'm sure he would have quite a bit.
Yeah, all he's missing is the ankle. Nothing on the leg. No leg guard. But I'm seeing arm
He did
sleeve.
have the ankle guard on in his
Oh,
first
okay.
at bat. He had it on the left leg, but it's
Gotcha.
missing here in this one.
He's got the elbow guard. He's got the turtleneck
Yep.
underneath. He's got, looks like 2 different colored arm sleeves on.
Draws himself a walk. Now he's going to get to pull off that sliding mitt and put that on. But then he needs the towel in the back, which we've seen that become a little bit more ubiquitous here and across the summer months. And now here is Dexter McLeon Jr. Already got an RBI double, 1 for 1.
A little fun fact while I was looking through Dexter's profile, his max exit velo at Top Prospect Games, a 98.5. That would put him higher than Forrest Wall's max exit velo this season. Now, that's not anything crazy. Forrest Wall, I believe, 585th out of everybody with 1 at bat this season in the MLB. But for a 14-year-old, that is extremely impressive.
Yeah, I'm really going to be interested to see what these next 3 years are going to be like with Dexter McLeon Jr. I'm sure it's going to be special.
Yeah, we saw him a couple of weeks with that Brave Scout team for 14U. He looked great with that team. He was just kind of a natural leader out on the field. He was definitely always high spirits when he's out here on the field, always just looking to have a good time. I haven't really seen him without a smile on his face when he's playing in these tournaments. So that's always a nice thing to see from some of these top guys because it doesn't seem like he feeds into the pressure. He just comes out here and plays his game.
You know, and I think that's important, too. If you're going to be a 14-year-old that's going to be playing against and playing against older guys and playing with some of the best players in the nation, I mean, you better be able to, you know, nobody's expecting you to go out there and just blend in.
Yeah.
Sets that one to short. Throws the second for the third out. So USA Prime National are going to strand some runners, but they've got a 5-0 lead. And we'll be back with the bottom of the 6th from the Indiana Bulls and USA Prime National in the 16U National Championship.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun with great brands at the best prices. More of this, and this. So you can get together for a little of that, and a lot more of that. And even some of that, and that's good. Have more fun with great brands at the best prices. Only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Nothing continues to be the lead for USA Prime National over Indiana Bulls in the 16U National Championship Final. Cory McCartney along with Grayson Rosen coming to you from the Audi Marietta Field here at LakePoint Sports, and going to still have Easton Ryder on the mound for USA Prime National. He's going to be facing off against, this is the point in the order where we actually had a change because we started off with Ryan Rodman who was the starting pitcher for Indiana Bulls, but he exited in the second inning, and then we saw Jackson Mitchell come in. So Mitchell will be the first hitter in this inning, and then he'll be followed by Eli Hampton, and then we are to the top of the order and Landon Nikoloff.
This is just desperation time now for Indiana. If you want to continue this game, you need to start putting some work in, and this is kind of where it has to start. I know you're near the bottom of your lineup, but this is a talented team. They've got guys that can at least get on base, if not move themselves around. So just kind of keep playing your game and just go for contact now. You're onto your second pitcher of the game now, so you've seen a couple different looks. You should be settled in. Hopefully this is where you can get things going.
Yeah, and I hate to harp on this, but I just think it took a lot out of them to win that game over East Cobb Astros to get to this point. You don't want that to be an excuse, because this is, as I mentioned, this is a team that has 18 players in the roster, at least ranked in their state, 7 with national rankings, 5 Division I commits. This Indiana Bulls team is not a team that lucked their way into the championship game for the 16U national championship. But it's an exhausting environment to get to play 7 games, an 8th game to win this thing, and then to have to do so, having to go multiple extra innings in the semifinals to get here, while your opponent got about an hour and a half break to kind of. They had guys out here. They had Lash Henderson's little brother out here throwing on the mound in between games just to play around with some guys as they tried to stay loose. So. Just a very different way of getting to this point for the Indiana Bulls, one that can be exhausting when you're talking about doing it all in the Georgia Heat.
Yeah, and they're also coming off of, both of these teams are a Tuesday where you played 3 elimination games.
Yeah.
It's a single elimination tournament. You played 3 back-to-back-to-back yesterday, and then you come out here early in the morning. They were probably here around 8:20 to hit in the cages, and then they get out here. They play this 9-inning game in this Georgia Heat. It's tough to go through, and then you come out here, a quick turnaround was 30 minutes, but, like you said, USA Prime National was just kind of relaxing for an hour. So it's big. I don't want to say it's the biggest separator here, because you don't want to take away from the fact that USA Prime is extremely talented, but Indiana's certainly at a tough road to this game as well.
And I'm shortchanging them. This is the 10th game that the both of them have played to get to this point, and I mean, that is to then have to go extra innings if you're Indiana Bulls to get there, and that one absolutely ripped down the left field line.
Oh,
about to catch up with the other runner. We got the hang up here at second base. If he throws back to first, I think he kind of misjudged things. You know, a situation we've got a pickle with one runner at second. If they just go up and tag the base,
he's safe.
He's safe, and the other guy's going to be headed into the third. What in the world just happened? We saw absolute chaos on the base pass there. Hampton standing at second base, got himself a double, and he had it free rundown. That was some chaos as that ball went into the left field corner. Not sure if he maybe thought that was going to be a ground rule double, but it was not, and the ball was able to get in, and we had one runner already standing at second. I thought they were going to get him back at first. Simply, if they had thrown the ball to first base and the runner would have been standing there, they would have had the out, but they kind of hesitated and found themselves with now guys at second and third and nobody out here in the bottom of the sixth.
Yeah, and you threw behind your runner. He was already moving to second. You throw behind him to the first baseman trying to chase him down. It just didn't seem right in the moment. And, yeah, that was all over the place. You had, I think it was Hamilton, who was the lead runner. Looked like maybe he thought it either went foul or maybe he went out to that corner opening out there in the left field, but either way, he somehow makes it to third base. That was insane.
Yeah, that was a lot, to say the least. And take that back. That was actually Racked. That's going to be standing at second base now. So, got to give Jax Racked his credit. He was able to have some heads-up base running, and now Indiana Bulls got him at second and third.
And they bring up the top of the lineup here. Landon Nikoloff getting in, no outs, 2 runners in scoring position. You got a chance here to do something.
Yeah, Indiana Bulls got to start piecing something together as they trail 5-0 here in the bottom of the sixth. That's in for a strike.
And you've got some heavy hitters coming up after him as well. Aiden Reynolds, the Indiana commit, leads hits by 3. He's at 13 hits. He also holds the lead in triples and extra base hits.
Yeah, the heart of the order looms. We'll see if Indiana Bulls can start piecing something together, trailing 5-0. It was a 1-1. Now 2-1. So yeah, Jax Racht was not in the starting lineup for Indiana Bulls, but he comes in and has a big moment. I'm sure one that he's not going to forget off the bench. Counts now 3-1. One pitch away from loading the bases with Aiden Reynolds looming. Could be in for a exciting finish here in the 16U National Championship. See how Easton Ryder and USA Prime National responds as Alvarado goes out and has a word with his pitcher.
Yeah, this is kind of the first time we've seen any control issues from USA Prime in this game from either pitcher. I would assume it's probably just being a little bit shaken up by how crazy that sequence was to go right back on the mound and just think that everything is right back to normal. You know, you could have had an out there. You could have had first and second if you threw to second base and just let it happen. But, yeah, it's a tough one to live with. And now he walks another, and now he's got bases loaded, no outs.
And here comes Aiden Reynolds. As Grayson mentioned, Indiana commit. 8th ranked player overall in Indiana, 178 nationally.
Looks like Coach coming out to have a word with Ryder.
Don't see any activity in the bullpen for USA Prime National.
Yeah, I think Easton Ryder just needs a moment to collect his thoughts here. Obviously, this start of the inning isn't going his way, and you just got to know that you can trust your guys behind you. You've got a fantastic infield, a fantastic outfield on top of it. And yes, you have no outs, bases loaded, but you got 5 runs to work with. If you get out of this inning and you only give up 2 runs, you still have a 3-run lead, and this explosive offense can come out and do something for you. It's really not all that bad. So just settle in and play the game.
We'll see what effect that mound meeting has on Easton Ryder. Now he's going to be facing off against the aforementioned Aiden Reynolds. Reynolds 0 for 2. Reynolds' profile picture on the scoreboard has him in his junior feature games. Where as he jumps on that one, sends it into left field. That's going to be down. Runner's taken off for home.
Oh,
there's nobody at third base. He threw the third where no one was at. Bit of a miscommunication there. The breakdown defensively for USA Prime National, and Indiana Bulls find themselves on the board. They trail 5-1 in the bottom of the 6th off the RBI single from Aiden Reynolds.
And now they bring up Robert Zarnicki, who, once again, kind of like I talked about with other players on this team, an all-around great player, a 6'7", 160, also got 99.4 max exit velo, and he's hit 2 home runs himself this tournament.
Yeah, we've seen some oddities, to say the least, defensively from USA Prime National. They've been in complete control of this game up until that bizarre play between first and second, and now a throw from left field to third base where no one was standing. And now,
yeah, they're lucky that didn't result in more runs.
Yeah, they're lucky that didn't find its way into the dugout and give them even more runs. But, yeah, you're right. Now here comes Robert Zarnicki. Jumps on this, nearly 96 off the bat. That one's into center field. That's over top of the center fielder's head. Here comes one run. Here comes the second run. Robert Zarnicki standing at second base. Here comes the third run. Robert Zarnicki with a 3-run double, and we've got a game in our hands. It's now 5-4 USA Prime National. Indiana Bulls fighting their way back into this one.
Oh, my goodness.
A gigantic moment from Robert Zarnicki as he jumped on that 95.8 off the bat, sends it all the way to the batter's eye in center field. And, man, this thing is getting interesting now.
Yeah, it's really hard to get a ball past Jordan Griffin out there in center field. He's a fast one. He's got a ton of range. But, yeah, that was an insane sequence we just saw. And now Indiana right back in this game like they never left.
See if that's going to be it for Easton Ryder.
Looks like it's going to be the end of his day.
That's it for Easton Ryder. 4 runs here in the bottom of the 6th have gotten Indiana Bulls right in this game. Let's see who USA Prime National is going to bring in to replace him. Landon Green was absolutely dominant, and he exited with under 50 pitches, but 5 strikeouts. But this Indiana Bulls team able to get to Easton Ryder. Comes somebody trotting in.
It looks like after that last mound meeting, they probably sent him out to the bullpen to warm up, and now getting the call. Haven't quite seen that number just yet. His glove's covering it. Looks like 26. 26.
I believe that's going to be Chase Fuller. That will be Chase Fuller stepping out there, and Chase Fuller has an absolute cannon strapped to his shoulder, too. Will not disappoint. You're talking about another guy who can rip it into the 90s.
Starts up the warm-ups with 90.5.
Yeah, starts at the one.
Not too much control there on the warm-up pitch, but definitely getting hot to start. Oh, goes up 1.1 miles per hour from 91.6. So, yeah, he's going to be firing them in. Bit of a change of pace from Easton Ryder that we saw before.
Yeah, let's dive into the pitching statistics here a little bit on Chase Fuller, who, again, is the #1 player in Florida in 2027, second overall in the nation, trails only Lash Henderson, his teammate in that department. Max fastball of 93, also has a curveball at 75. So you're talking about a nearly 20-mile-an-hour difference off the fastball and curveball from Mr. Chase Fuller, the Florida State commit.
Proud to say he's going to be a Seminole. Hopefully he makes it on campus. He might be good enough to get drafted.
Well, he's certainly been on campus many a time.
True.
And his dad, Cory, within the staff there for Florida State, as he misses wildly. I would say at this point, what you saw from Easton Ryder, and no offense to Easton Ryder, but if you can pump it into the mid-90s, just go out there and throw fastballs.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to look like it's 105 miles an hour, especially after going from Landon Green, getting a break, maybe thinking that they were seeing something, into the 80s, and then you come back in the mid-90s. It's going to look so much faster. So just keep it simple against these guys and let your defense work behind you.
Yeah, now you're in a position where you kind of can't give up a base hit. Chase kind of inherits a tough position. No outs. You got a runner in scoring position already. Zarnicki
standing at second base.
Yeah, Zarnicki, like I said, he's a 6'7", 160. He's going to score on a base hit to the outfield.
Well, we could be in for an epic finish here, as what looked like a cruise control kind of game for USA Prime National has become anything but here in the bottom of the 6th, and it's just been weird moment after weird moment, and then Zarnicki absolutely makes him pay with a 3-run double that's got his team within 1. Now he's standing in scoring position, as you mentioned, and here is Tate Troxell, the Alabama commit, another guy who can do some serious damage at the plate. Maybe Indiana Bulls just needed a few innings to find themselves again after gutting out that last win, and things have certainly gotten very interesting here on the Audi Marietta field. Fuller misses to make it 1-0.
Yeah, Troxell was a guy that when we were watching that semifinal game, he came up to the plate, and I knew for a fact this guy was an SEC infielder. He has the ability. He looked like every other guy that was playing some corner infield in the College World Series in general. He has the college build, and he sends that one out to right field to
60
no man's
60
land.
mile an hour off the bat, but that drops in, and there's another run. We've got a tie game now as Tate Troxell scores Robert Zarnicki. That was we can talk all we want about a ball 90 mile an hour off the bat, and it's got to have a guy on the run. You put it in no man's land like that, and it's just enough to cause trouble. You had the first baseman trying to track that thing down, the right fielder's trying to track that thing down. All the while, Robert Zarnicki's on the run. Tate Troxell comes through, and we got a tie game.
Yeah, it seems like USA Prime's outfield shift hard. It seems like a lot of times we're seeing either Dexter McLean playing super far up center field against the righties, or on the other end, Tyler Message out in left field playing super far into center field on the lefty. So they've been able to exploit hitting opposite field, and it's working out right now.
Future games participant Aiden Smith at the plate now. Rips that one, 90 mile an hour foul. 90 meets 90.
And especially with this kind of speed coming at you on the mound, it's not going to be hard to hit to the opposite field because it's going to be hard to get around this one quick. So if you keep sending balls out to opposite field, you're going to continue to exploit that shift.
Smith's got a 0-1 count. He's 1 for 1 already today. Another not necessarily a hard hit ball, but the runner's able to advance to third. Does his job. Indiana Bulls 90 feet from taking the lead here in the bottom of the 6th. There's just 1 out.
Yeah, finally getting that 1 out. That was a big credit to who do we have over at third base? Chase Fuller. Or no, who's at third base now? I know Chase Fuller's pitching, so not sure who they subbed in at third, but just throwing a dot across the infield, getting out. That's all that matters.
Evan Hampton, Kentucky commit, got a chance now to put his team ahead. Pumps that in for a strike at nearly 92. I say this all the time. When you've got these national teams like this, and a guy is not used to coming into a relief situation, how quick he has to get himself ready to get out there on the mound. I think that's always an element that you have to kind of watch play out. Maybe he comes back out there, and that ball's going to get away. They're going to throw it back Fuller off of his glove.
Threw that hard.
Yeah, that was an absolute dot from the catcher. And Tate Troxell scores. Another weird defensive moment for USA Prime National. 6-5 now. Indiana Bulls, they're on top.
This has been an insane bottom of the 6th here. A lot of defensive miscues. That kind of another one. I think kind of going to what you said about these big national teams, not a lot of these guys play together a lot. They don't get together all the time. You see more miscues when that happens, and it's unfortunate, but this is a lot of talent. It's just they haven't played a lot together.
Ball gets away from Embrado behind the plate. 2-1's the count to Aiden Smith. But saying back to Fuller was like, I think it just takes a starting pitcher a long time to get into their rhythm, and you throw them into a relief role like this they're not necessarily used to. It can take them time to get going and find that control. And there's our buddy the Wasp making his appearance, his daily appearance on our broadcast. I think it's his 2nd time stopping by today. It's now going to be 2 down, and here's Gannon Grant. What a surprising turn of events here as Indiana Bulls have been able to, trying to recap this 6th inning is going to be a feat in itself.
What a fast turnaround. We go into this inning, it's 5-0. It feels like USA Prime can just, like you said earlier, put it in cruise control and roll through, but it seems like they turned off the cruise control and forgot to hit the gas. Fuller's got 2 strikes on him, 2 outs here. Let's see if he just brings the heat. Definitely did. 92.7 just gets fouled off.
Dribbler.
Foul off another one. 2 straight foul balls for Gannon Grant here.
All right, 0-2 count to Gannon Grant. Fuller pumps in the breaking ball, doesn't get the call there. Comes back with the 1-2. Now quickly 2-2.
Brought the heat on that one. 93.5.
He did.
Just couldn't get the zone.
Oh, wildly misses. Now 3-2.
I think right here, 3-2, 2 outs. Just try and get something in the zone here. Make them swing. You've seen the fielders do great jobs here now that you've come into the game, and I think Fuller's just got to trust his infield that he can get a ground ball.
Comes the payoff pitch. Ends up walking him. Chase Fuller wanted that call badly.
Yeah, and you even saw him tone down the velo a little bit. Only hit 89.4 on the fastball there. Just trying to find the zone. Just barely misses.
Go out, and the infielders are going to have themselves a mound meeting. So they're get a courtesy runner. So Gannon Grant exits. It's a courtesy runner, and here comes Blake Cope. Got Cope off the hook here. Gave up 4 runs himself on the mound. Ropes that one into gap in right field. Able to track that down, though, and make the catch. But Indiana Bulls, they've come out of nowhere and taken a 6-5 lead as we move along. You are watching the 16U National Championship from LakePoint Sports.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Back at LakePoint Sports, new pitcher going to be on the mound for Indiana Bulls, who now lead 6-5 in the top of the 7th. They're going to try to close this thing out. It literally came out of nowhere. We were talking about this during the break. Jax Racht gets tied up between first and second. There was already a runner at second base. They end up with runners at second and third. Robert Zarnicki comes through next with a 3-run double. There's a misthrown ball at third base. Then Tate Troxel, extra bases on a 60-mile-an-hour hit into right field. Then he scores on a wild pitch. All this chaos happens in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Indiana Bulls now find themselves up 6-5.
Yeah, USA Prime, obviously they have no shortage of talent, and they've scored runs in this game now. They haven't scored in a couple of innings, and we need to see something here because this is how you're going to stay alive. You're down 1 run. It's the top of the 7th. It's game time.
And they got a guy looming hitting third in this inning. Ethan Armbruster will lead off. Then it's Eli Jones. Then Maddox Lard, who had a solo home run earlier in this game. It's the bottom of the order, but you say bottom of the order in a national team, that's a very different bottom of the order. There are guys down here who can make something happen, and USA Prime National needs that to happen because this game absolutely got away from them in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, it looks like Gannon Grant takes the mound earlier. He was playing shortstop. Once again, another guy who's just super versatile on this team. Plays a great infield, super fast kid. He's also got a really strong 4-pitch mix up on the mound.
Yeah, throws up to 91 on the fastball. Got a curveball 74-77, change around 75-78. Also has a slider. So we talk luxuries to have. This guy's the 7th-ranked right-hander in the state of Indiana, 13th overall in the class, 58th right-hander in the nation. So this is a nice weapon to have, and basically using it as a closer here, trying to finish off a national championship. That's in for a strike. Makes it 2-1.
Yeah, that was painted right there. Great pitch.
This has been one of the guttier performances I can remember seeing in quite some time, and we've seen it in back-to-back games from Indiana Bulls as that's in to make it 2-2. Extra innings against East Cobb Astros to even get to this point. They trail 5-0, and you could have maybe felt like nothing's going our way, and then seemingly everything, like angels in the outfield kind of stuff, going their way in the 6th inning. That's a dribbler to second. Gathers, throws in time for the first out. The baseball gods were smiling on them in the 6th inning, and they now lead 6-5, trying to finish this off. 2 outs away from winning the 16U National Championship.
And that brings up Eli Jones, playing second base. He's an Oregon State commit. This guy can hit. It's just up and down this order. You could say that about everybody, but this is a good place to get something started if USA Prime wants to stay in it. There's a ball on his first one. That was a close one.
Did not like that. It's now 1-1. Can't misses on the outside. Gannon Grant looking to finish things off, 2 outs away. Just misses on the outside corner. It's now 3-1.
consistently hitting that spot with the fastball with both batters that he's faced already this inning. Let's see if maybe he can work the inside a little bit, try and back him up off the plate.
Yeah, trying to paint the black. He was able to do 3-1. Catcher sets up. Gets that in for a strike. Jones thought he was trotting down to first base. Got a full count. He's got to gather himself here. He's had a couple calls maybe he didn't agree with in this at bat, but your team needs you. Need to come through with something here. 3-2. Sends that foul to stay alive.
This is a great sequence when you look at pitch placement for Grant right here. He goes 4 straight pitches in that outside low part of the zone. Catches the strike zone once, then he brings it back inside to make Jones think outside, and then switches it right back up on him, goes right back to the outside. Finds himself now in a 3-2 count, and it's in his favor right here.
Wouldn't be surprised if he loads up on the outside part of the plate, goes back to that pitch. He does, flicks that one foul. Working more laterally than he is up and down in this AB.
Yeah, kind of staying on the same plane, just like you said, moving laterally, and it's working. He's certainly got Jones guessing where it's going.
I feel like
now.
This would be a good spot for an elevated fastball. See if he does that. Nope, goes right back to the outside corner. Gets it this time. What a pitch there from Grant. Now 2 down.
Jones is not happy with that one.
He lived on that side, though. He kept working that part of the plate and ends up getting it for the payoff pitch to get the strikeout. Now 2 down. Everything for USA Prime National coming down to Maddox Lard, who's already got a home run today. A massive moment. See what Lard, the #1 player in Wisconsin, can do here against Gannon Grant with 2 down. Goes back to it, misses. Maybe a little bit of.
Nice play right there.
Yeah, that's right.
Fielding that bare hand on the throwback from the catcher.
Pretty slick. Sure the adrenaline's pumping for Grant as he gets that in for a strike.
He loves that spot.
He does.
And he knows the umpire's calling it. He's just going to keep going back to it.
I think if you're the batter, you either try to just flick that foul and see if you can force him enough times to come back inside. Lard rips that one a little bit more elevated. Looked like he threw him a changeup and able to rip that one foul. Now 1-2. USA Prime National down to their final pitch.
Gannon Grant was doing a good job keeping those breaking balls off to the left, kind of fading out of the zone, and that one he hung up there, and Lard, I think, just got a little trigger happy.
Grant fires. Misses on the outside, goes back to his favorite spot, and unable to finish things off. It's now 2-2. Doesn't necessarily help when it flicks off the top of the catcher's mitt, too. Even if you think you had the pitch, just the optics of it, I think, are hard to get that call on.
Yeah, and I think it's helping out Grant that his catcher's setting up outside, so the umpire's definitely looking there as well. Sets up outside again.
3-2, goes to it, finishes it off. What
game.
A performance. Indiana Bulls come back from 5-0. Gannon Grant finishes it off with a couple strikeouts. Indiana Bulls are 16U national champions. What a performance from a team that had to win the semifinal game in extra innings, then comes back from a 5-0 deficit and ends up walking away with a championship. Man, what an absolute. Those boys need to be dancing because they are absolutely earned this. Taking on a team of, yes, 2027s, but some of the best 2027s on planet Earth. When you think about the number 1 and 2 players ranked by Prep Baseball in the class, they had, just a ridiculous number. 11 players ranked nationally in the 2027s, not to mention the one that some people think will be the number 1 player in 2028. They led 5-0 over this Indiana Bulls squad. Man, you go into that 6th inning and just everything started breaking the way of the Indiana Bulls. I already recapped this once, but just the utter craziness of it because Jack's racked. He already had a runner at second base. He gets tied up between first and second. It was really hard to tell if maybe he thought it was a ground rule double because he almost caught up to the runner at second base. I don't know if he just thought he was trotting into second. He had to wonder what in the world the guy was doing still standing there at second. So there's a bit of a rundown between first and second, but it ends up with runners at second and third for Indiana Bulls. Then Robert Zarnecki comes through with what is ultimately a 3-run double, which includes a ball that was thrown to third base where the defensive player wasn't even standing there. There was no one there. Could have been a lot worse than it was. Then Tate Troxell has a 60-mile-an-hour ball hit into right field that had the first baseman and right fielder on the run. He ends up scoring on a wild pitch, and that's how Indiana Bulls win this thing 6-5. And then Gannon Grant comes through and just closes the door, living on the outside of the plate. Grayson, I feel like I'm going 100 miles an hour, and and that's kind of how it felt like it finished for the Indiana Bulls.
I'm speechless. That turnaround was as crazy as I've seen all season up here at LakePoint. That was one of the most ridiculous finishes we've had to a game, and then it seemed like that whole first half of the game, Indiana Bulls, the pitching wasn't there. They were giving up runners left and right. And then the tables entirely turned, and they come out and they shut down this offense multiple innings in a row, this super hot USA Prime offense that has been scoring runs at will throughout this tournament. Indiana comes out. The pitching looks fantastic. They went through a number of pitchers, I think 4 or 5 in this game. And they just keep going, and they shut it all down, and they come out victorious. It was insane how this game went.
And you think about the way that just the tone setting that was done by USA Prime National, because you got Landon Green, the 8th ranked player in the class of 2027, the #1 ranked right-hander in the nation, comes out. His first 4 pitches, 95, 95, 95, 95. The fourth of those end up with a strikeout looking. He ends up getting 6 Ks on the day, allows just 1 hit, just looked absolutely dominant. And you thought, man, if this guy's going to keep rolling, he throws just 46 pitches through 4 innings. I mean, he probably could have stayed out there the entire game and just kept dealing. But then a pitching change, Indiana Bulls were able to take advantage. They went through their own issue. They had Ryan Rodman, who was their starting pitcher, just up and leaves in the second inning. And then, you have Blake Cope come in. He ends up giving up 4 runs. So you thought maybe, okay, is this a situation where Indiana Bulls have gone through their pitching and now they're just going to have to hope that they can keep this thing close enough for their offense to do something? But I think as the game went on, the pitching just got better from them, and then you're able to see them walk away with, again, we talked about the oddities of it, but they end up going through Rodman, Cope, Hampton, and then Grant. And then you have, Hampton and Grant come in, don't allow a combined hit between them. They were just absolutely did a great job of allowing this team to stay within this game, and just offensively the way that they were able to kind of put together that big inning. I'm sure 20 years from now, when you ask these kids about this game and that inning, every one of them will be like, I have no idea how everything broke our way that inning, but it just did.
Yeah, that's one they'll remember for a long time. And the biggest shout out I want to give to in that pitching effort there at the end of the game is to Hampton. 2.1 innings pitched, didn't even strike out a single batter, and still didn't give up a hit or a run. Yes, he walked 3 batters, but he got outs no matter how he needed to, none of them from strikeouts, and just continued to will his team all the way to this national championship victory.
Yeah, and you see the guys there. They got their national championship T-shirts on now, the hats. It's ring season, and it's being rung in by Indiana Bulls, who are the 16U national champions. We've still got to reward player of the game, so we're not done yet. Stick around. After this break, we'll be right back from LakePoint Sports.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete in all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf.
Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
You want craziness. We absolutely had that in the 16U National Championship here from LakePoint Sports in the Audi Marietta Fields. Cory McCartney, Grayson, Rosen with you. Indiana Bulls 6-5 winners over USA Prime National, trailed 5-0 going into the 6th inning. And Grayson, we've done this a couple times, but we absolutely have to recap the craziness that we saw unfold in the 6th inning. Jax Rack comes off the bench. There's already a runner at second base. He hits one into the left field corner. I don't know if he thought it was a ground rule double or what he thought was going on, but he already had a runner at second base that he nearly caught up to, trotting from first to second. There's a rundown. Maybe they would have had him at first. Maybe they could have had a situation where they end up getting both guys. They get neither, so Indiana Bulls have runners at second and third. Then you have a 3-run double from Robert Zarnicki. That includes a missed-thrown ball to third base. Tate Troxell, the Alabama commit, gets an extra base hit, and this is a guy who flirts with triple-digit exit velos. A 90-mile-an-hour ball into right field that has the first baseman and the right fielder on the run. Then he ends up scoring in a wild pitch. Indiana Bulls then go to Gannon Grant on the mound, living on the outside corner. They are 6-5 winners, and Grayson, they are national champions.
Yeah, that whole sequence was crazy. We saw base running that a coach might even take you out of the game for sometimes. They turned it into 3 runs just a few batters later. It was insanity from the jump in that 6th inning. We kept seeing crazy things occur. We saw that wild throw that honestly could have scored even more runs and given them the lead right then. They still get the lead there. They come out. Evan Hampton hops up on the mound. He has a great 2.1 innings when he was on the mound. And then you said, Grant comes out. He looked great as well. This was an all-around team effort by Indiana. They never went down. They played a long game today earlier. They went 9 innings. They come into this one after a 30-minute break. They come out a little bit slow. That 6th inning turns everything around. The pitching was behind them. The hitting was great there for the 6th inning. And all of a sudden, they are national champions.
Robert Zarnicki, before the game, he's got his name is Czarniecki, and of course, it's a situation as a broadcaster, and you got to go up and say, okay, tell me how to properly pronounce your name. Robert Zarnicki will be back here for the future games at the end of July, and he's doing so also with the benefit of winning player of the game, because I don't know how there were a lot of great performances. You mentioned what Evan Hampton did, also had a couple of hits from the Kentucky commit. He was a big piece of this. But Zarnicki coming through with that 3-run double that puts them within one, that gets things right there. They're able to get this thing tied up. Robert Zarnicki, to me, ends up winning player of the game, the #1 ranked outfielder in the state of Indiana, 7th overall in the class, 132 in the nation. Exit velos 99.4 off the bat. He was spectacular and came up when his team needed him to.
Yeah, Zarnicki looked phenomenal. That at bat, obviously huge, but throughout this game, he looked very good at the plate, despite that being the only hit he recorded. That 3 RBI triple was the turning point double. The 3 RBI double was the turning point in this game for this team, and it led them to this national championship. But like you said, I wanted to give the shout out to Evan Hampton for his work at the plate with 2 hits, and then also scoring 2 runs and going up on the mound, doing a great job. On the losing side, unfortunately, Landon Green did have a great outing to start the game. He looked like maybe a player of the game when he came out, but threw less than 50 pitches, had 5 strikeouts through 3 innings pitched or 4 innings pitched. So all around, we saw fantastic talent in this game, but Robert Zarnicki's hit was so timely.
Yeah, Landon Green was spectacular. Dexter McLeon Jr., who's probably going to be the #1 player in 2028, has an RBI double. And then Maddox Lard, the #1 player in Wisconsin, hits a solo home run. The stars and the big names came out and showed out today, but Robert Zarnicki ends up being a player of the game in this national championship. So Indiana Bulls, 6-5 winners over USA Prime National, and they are national champions. So congratulations to them. So for Grayson Rosen and producer Jack McCartney, I'm Cory McCartney saying so long, and we'll see you soon from LakePoint Sports.